Why, hello and welcome to Random Storytime number 16. Especially did my hair again this morning. I'm considering that when I'm actually allowed to see my hairstylist, truly scrumptious, that I might even do this for realsies. It's quite nice having a little bit of red. Oh, look, this is even better because I can move my hair. Who thought? Oh, now I need to just zhuzh it back up. So we don't like it to be flat and nothing, do we? Pull that forward. My little bunny ears keeping my hair on. Bet you know all about that, don't you, old people? But I do love you. So, my son actually managed to find Plop, the little owl, which is actually called the owl who was afraid of the dark. Are you afraid of anything? I just found out last night, which I sort of knew, but my daughter is afraid of the big bad wolf. The big bad wolf spider, as it turns out, which I had to take and put outside. She said they're icky. Anywho, this is The Little Owl Who Was Afraid of the Dark. It's by Jill Tomlinson and illustrated by Paul Howard. And remember, we have a spine of a book. We have the front cover. We have a cute little owl over here, don't we? Sitting on the branch, watching. Then we have the back cover. And on the back cover, we have a little bit of a blurb about what the story might be about. And sometimes we can get things like clues. And then we've got the barcode for sale. And tracking the book. Plop was a baby owl, baby barn owl. He lived with his mummy and daddy at the top of a tall tree. Plop was the same as every barn owl that has ever been, except for one thing. He was afraid of the dark. Do you think other owls are afraid of the dark? I don't want to be a night bird, Plop told his mummy. Dark is nasty. You don't know that, she said. You'd better find out about the dark before you make up your mind. Look, there's a little boy down there. Go and ask him. We all need to do that about things that we don't know about, don't we? Not just take it for granted that what we're being told is the truth. We all need to think about everything and make our own decisions. Sometimes people will tell us things that we're not sure if we should believe just because they're our friends or our family. Sometimes we need to find out the truth for ourselves. Just because somebody says, I don't like that person, doesn't mean you don't have to like that person. It's just the same as the dark, isn't it? Just because Mummy and Daddy like the dark doesn't mean that Plop has to like the dark. But Plop needs to do his own investigation, doesn't he? And find out if the dark is actually as scary as he thinks. So Plop, who was quite new at flying, took a deep breath and flew down. You can see Plop up over here looking really scared about the dark. Ooh, cried the little boy as Plop. I'll turn the page so you can look at this and I can read the story. Ooh, cried the little boy as Plop landed with a somersault. Hello, said Plop. I've come to find out about the dark. Oh, said the little boy. Dark is exciting, especially tonight. We're going to have fireworks. Does it have to be dark? Asked Plop. Of course, replied the boy. You can't see the fireworks unless it's dark. Look out for them later. Wouldn't it be nice if all our animals could be warned when there were going to be fireworks? That way the horses wouldn't bolt through the fences. Well, said Mrs. Barn Owl when Plop arrived back at the nest. The little boy said, "Dark is exciting," said Plop. "I still do not like it at all, but I will watch the fireworks if you will sit by me." "We will sit by you," said his mummy and daddy. So that is what they did. Sort of like trying veggies too, isn't it? Just because somebody tells you that they taste delicious doesn't mean you have to believe them, but it's always good to try them for yourself. And other foods. So there's lots of things that we might be afraid of, but we don't have to believe everybody when they may say to us, "Ooh, that tastes yuck." We don't have to believe what they say. We can make our own choices, can't we? We can choose whether we like them by trying them ourselves. My children often won't try things. And I say to them, "You just need to try it." Now I do reverse psychology. And I say, "Don't try that because I don't want to share it." Now they do try it, and now I have to share. That was silly, wasn't it? When the very last firework had faded, Mr. Barn Owl went hunting. At night he brought food back to Plop until daylight came and it was time for bed. That's a little bit different to us, isn't it? They do bedtime during the day and we do bedtime at night. Well, some of us do bedtimes during the day, but they're called naps. So we do a little bit of both, don't we? Do you know what it's called if they stay up at night and go to sleep during the day? It's nocturnal. Knock, knock. It's nocturnal. They stay up during the night and go to sleep during the day. And if you stay up during the day and go to sleep at night, you're diurnal. Halfway through the morning, Plop woke up. Mrs. Barn Owl opened one bleary eye. "Plop, dear," she said, "why don't you find out some more about the dark? Go and ask that old lady in the deck chair." There they all are sitting together. Aren't they beautiful? We have a bird sort of like an owl. It's called a tawny frogmouth. They're very neat. They catch mice and rats and all other things. They are nocturnal. They are up at night. Plop landed by the old lady with a thump. "Hello," he said. "I've come to ask you about the dark. I want to go hunting with Daddy, but he always goes hunting in the dark, and I'm afraid of it." "How very odd," said the lady. "Now, I love the dark. Dark is kind. I can forget that I am old, and I can sit and remember all the good times." "I haven't much to remember yet," said Plop. "I'm rather new, you see," because he's just a little owl, isn't he? "Well," said his mummy as Plop flew up to the landing branch. "The old lady said dark is kind," said Plop, "but I still do not like it at all." But isn't he good going out and finding out lots of different information about the thing he's afraid of? We could do that about some of the bugs and things that we might be afraid of. We could get more information about them, and then we don't have to be so afraid. That evening, when both his parents went hunting... Sorry, I've got a flappy tonka. Yeah. Here. Good boy. That evening, when both his parents went hunting, Plop closed his eyes and tried to remember something. To remember. Suddenly he heard a happy shout and Plop forgot about being afraid of the dark. He peered through the leaves and saw a boy sitting by a fire. Plop flew down, landing with an enormous thud. "Hello," said Plop. "I've come to see what's going on." "I'm guarding the campfire," said the boy. The others have gone to play games in the dark, lucky things. Do you like the dark? Asked Plop. It's super, said the boy. Dark is fun. We're going to make cocoa and sing around the fire. Would you like to stay? We're going to do the same tonight at our house. We're going to do a fire, take marshmallows out, and enjoy the dark. Watch the fire glow. Plop landed by the little girl with a bounce. Hello, he said. I've come to ask about the dark. Do you like it? Of course I do, she replied. Dark is necessary. Without the dark, Father Christmas wouldn't come. You'd have an empty stocking on Christmas Day. Well, the Easter Bunny wouldn't be able to come without dark, would they? I don't have a stocking, said Plop. So the little girl took off her Wellington and gave him her sock. What's a Wellington, you might ask? Well, everybody over in England and the UK will know what a Wellington is. It's a gumboot. We call them gumboots here in Australia and in New Zealand. A Wellington. Here, she said. Hang it up on Christmas Eve. Oh, thank you, said Plop, and returned to his mummy. Well, said Mrs. Barn Owl, the little girl says dark is necessary because of Father Christmas coming, Plop said. I still do not like it at all, but I am going to hang the stocking on Christmas Eve. I wonder if he can smell her toe jams in that stocking. Plop slept nearly all day. By evening, he was wide awake. It's getting up time, Daddy, he shouted, butting his father in the tummy. Mrs. Barn Owl looked up at the sky. Not quite yet, Plop, he said. Wait till it's dark. That night, Plop watched his parents take off to go hunting again. Looking through the leaves, he saw a man standing on the ground below. So Plop flew down, landing with a gentle bump. Ooh, he's starting to go out into the world on his own a little bit more, isn't he? Get a little bit more courage and bravery. Takes courage and bravery to go out into the world sometimes, doesn't it? As well as to try new things like bowling or riding a horse. What are some new things you have tried that you were afraid of? Things that you may never have tried just because you listened to what other people said. It's always good to listen to other people, especially adults who might know better than you. But we also need to check things out for ourselves, because those adults might be saying things because they are afraid. But we need to take care of ourselves and be safe when we're trying new things, don't we? Especially things like horse riding or jet boating or rollerblading. We need to make sure we have the safety things in, don't we? I'm pretty sure Plop had to learn how to fly before he had to just take off. Heavens, cried the man, you startled me. Hello, said Plop. What's that you've got there? A telescope, said the man, for looking at the stars and planets at night. I don't like the dark very much, said Plop. Really, said the man, but the dark is wonderful. I'll show you. The man with the telescope showed Plop lots of stars and how they made patterns in the sky. He pointed out the bright pole star, the plough, the dog star, and Orion, the great hunter. These may be different star constellations to what we can see in the southern hemisphere. Those people that live up in the UK and America have a different hemisphere to us, and they often get to see different star constellations or different groupings of stars. And you can use a telescope to look at those stars. So what constellations do you know of? I know of Orion's belt. Look, you can see Plop in the hole. Plop said thank you and flew back to his mummy and daddy. A man with a telescope showed me the stars, Plop told them. He says dark is wonderful. That morning, Plop had his supper in bed, and then, like a real night bird, he slept right through the day. When Plop woke, it was almost dark. Hey, Jody. Now who's a day bird? He shouted at the darkness. Plop looked at his sleepy parents. He wasn't going to hang about waiting for them. He might be missing something. Do you think he should just take off, or should he tell his parents where he's going so that they know he's safe? Plop floated down and landed like a soft white feather. Under the tree, he saw a big black cat. Hi, Lillian. Heather, Lillian looks just like you when we were little. She reminds me of you all the time. She's so cute. Hello, said the cat. I was just going exploring. Won't you come with me? Hello, Heath. I would like to, I think, said Plop, but I'm afraid of the dark. But dark is beautiful, said the cat. Look around. Plop looked around. The moon had risen. Everything was bathed in its white light. Moonlight is magic, said the cat. Come with me and I will show you the nighttime world of cats and owls. Will you come? Yes, I will, said Plop. And he's going to go off with the black cat and check out the dark. It's always good to have somebody with you who you can check out things that you're afraid of. Hello, hello. Good morning, good morning. The cat took Plop up to the rooftops and they looked down over the sleeping town. Sounds like Big Brother, doesn't it? This is my world, said Plop. I am a night bird after all. And this is only one sort of night, said the cat. There are lots of other kinds, all beautiful. Thank you for showing me, said Plop. I must go now and tell my mummy and daddy. Good night, said the black cat, and many, many good nights. You can see Plop and the black cat sitting on the roof having a look over the town. It's always good to have lots of experiences with something new, isn't it? You can see them, but I'm going to turn the page so I can read. Plop flew straight back to his tree. Well, said his mummy. Plop took a deep breath. The small boy said dark is exciting. The old lady said dark is kind. The campfire boy said dark is fun. The little girl said dark is necessary. The man with the telescope said dark is wonderful. And the black cat said dark is beautiful. And what do you think, Plop? Asked his mummy. Plop looked up at his parents with twinkling eyes. I think, he said. What do you think, he said, after all those experiences and going and finding out for himself? And he didn't just go once, did he? He went lots of times. So like when we're trying new things, it's not just once that we try them. We try them lots of times and we do our own research and investigation into them, don't we? so that we can make that choice for ourselves. I think dark is super. Then Plop took off to go hunting in the dark. Mr. and Mrs. Barn Owl on each side, and Plop in the middle. Look, you can see them flying up in the glow of the moon. Can you remember what we said about owls and cats and other animals that stay up at night? Can you remember what they are? We consider them to be nocturnal. And can you remember the word for those that stay up during the day and sleep at night? They are diurnal. So that is what makes a difference. As people, we normally sleep at night and get up through the day. But some of us have to have naps, especially if we're really little or really old, or have just been doing lots and lots of work. We might have to come in and have a 20-minute power nap so that we can keep going. So remember, Plop, the night bird. So he's not an owl afraid of the dark anymore, is he? He's a night bird because he's gone and made sure that he understands what it's all about. What are some things we talked at the beginning? What are some things that you might be afraid of? That maybe you're afraid because you've believed what other people have told you and you haven't actually tried it for yourself. I am afraid of bungee jumping. I'm not sure that I'm actually ever going to try it because I'm afraid of heights. And I know I'm afraid of heights because when I've had to go up really high, I freak out, like in the Sky Tower, up lots and lots of floors, not thousands of floors. It's not that tall. Oh, right, Heath, you do 20 minutes every hour of sleep, do you? Right, lucky you. I bet you don't. I bet you're put to work by Max. I bet you've got lots of things like lawn mowing with that many acres. So what are some things that you are afraid of that you might actually try? I'm probably never going to bungee jump because I don't like the idea of it. But that's my fear, and I would never stop my children having a go because it might be something that they enjoy. Or it might be riding your bike. Maybe you're afraid of falling off. What if you didn't actually fall off and you managed to ride it easily? So we need to think about those fears, and we need to take them, and we need to have a little think about what all the things are that make them a fear for us. What are we afraid of? And then we need to investigate why we're afraid of them and maybe do some research into them about whether we really need to be afraid of them. Might be different kinds of animals. Maybe you're afraid of different kinds of animals. Maybe when you understand a little bit more about them, you don't need to be so afraid. Or it might be bugs. I know with cockroaches I was really afraid, but then I had to come and live in the country and get very used to them because they're everywhere and they're very big. They're like this big and they crawl into my house through windows and things, big bush cockroaches. But I've got used to them, and I unload about a can of fly spray on them, so we're good. What else are you afraid of? So it's always good to investigate and find out things that you might be afraid of and find the reasons that you don't need to be afraid of them. So maybe today you could use some time investigating something you're afraid of and get some more truth about it so that you don't have to be so afraid. Or maybe today's the day that you have a go at something that you're afraid of. And a good way to do that is with someone that you trust to support you through that. So have a crack, see what you can do, and be brave, be courageous, and just have a go. Have a good day, beautiful people, and enjoy the sunshine. Enjoy the floppy ears. Enjoy the Easter eggs and all the other wonderful things in the world right at this moment. Remember to look for the good stuff, because you will always find it. I'll see you later tomorrow with a Grandpa Bunny story. So you can join me for the last of the Easter stories with my little flippy floppy ears. Have a good day, people. Hoo!